Impulse is a fantastic small box 4x game that can be played by 2 to 6 players. Experienced players can play in about 15 or 20 minutes per player. To set up the game, put the sector core card face up in the middle, remove the 3 reference cards, shuffle the rest of the deck and deal out the universe like this. The universe is the same size and shape for all player counts. Give each player all 13 ships of one colour and put one of the ships on the scoreboard on 0. Randomly give each player a race and deal each player 5 starting cards. Each player should also pick up their home system starting card and choose one of these starting cards to go face up as their home system. Each player should then put 3 ships on their home system, 2 transports and 1 cruiser. The game is a race to 20 points. As soon as one player reaches 20 points, it's game over, that player wins. Transport ships stand upright on the card and occupy that card. They're used for activating cards, so they let you do the action written on the card. Cruiser ships patrol gates, and so they're always patrolling 2 cards, the ones on either side of the gates. Each card is unique, and the cards can refer to transports, which are these upright ships that activate the cards, or cruisers, which are these ships that lay down on the gates, or ships, which is either type, or fleets, which is a cluster of one of the types on one card or on one gate. So for example, this is a fleet of cruisers on this gate, and this is a fleet of transports on this card. Let's look at the anatomy of a card. This is the type of action that the card represents. This is the size of the card, 1, 2 or 3 pips. About half of the cards in the deck are 1 pip, and the cards also have a colour. This one is red, this one is yellow, and this is this card's specific action. So it's a command type of action, but this particular card would allow you to command a 2-ship fleet for 1 move. All of the numbers on the cards are up to. That means a fleet with up to 2 ships in it for up to 1 move, and you can see that this one has a white background. All of the cards have a number in a white background. That means that that number can be boosted. So potentially you would be able to command a ship fleet up to size 2 for more than 1 move. I'll show you how boosting works. Let's say that I'm activating this card with these 2 ships. This card says build 1 ship at home and each other blue card that you occupy, and that 1 is boostable. This is a blue card. I've activated it with 1, 2 ships, and I have 1, 2, 3 minerals for a total of 5. Divide that number by 2, ignore any remainder, and that's how much I can boost that number by. So in this case, 5 divided by 2, I can boost that number by 2. I can build 3 ships at home and at each other blue location I occupy. And because it says ships, they can be transports or cruisers. All of the available types of actions, which are all written on the cards, are visible here on this reference card. And of these actions, a few of them can gain you points. Trading can gain you points. You just discard cards from your hand and you get points according to the size of that card, 1, 2 or 3. Refining, if you've got minerals, you can discard those minerals for points. Sabotage, if you've got a cruiser patrolling the same card as other cruisers, you can sabotage them and you'll get 1 point for each ship destroyed. And finally, you can use the command action to move your cruiser onto the same gate as another cruiser and have a battle. If you win that battle, you'll get 1 point for every ship destroyed and 1 point for winning the battle. Finally, each turn you'll score sector core points depending on how many gates your cruisers are patrolling. So in this case, white would get 2 points because he's patrolling 2 gates. Red would get 1 point because he's patrolling 1 gate. Even though he has 2 cruisers, he's only patrolling 1 gate. Those are all the ways to get points. I'll go through what each of the actions allow you to do. If you do a command action, that will allow you to move your ships around. If you move transports, they will activate the card that they land on. If you move cruisers, they go from gate to gate. If you move a cruiser through a card that other cruisers are patrolling, then you can't go to an empty gate. You have to start a battle by going to one of the gates that has one of the other cruisers on. In this situation, if you move your cruiser through a card that has an undefended transport on it, and by undefended I mean that there are no enemy cruisers patrolling that card, then that ship would die and you would get a point for killing it. Build will allow you to build new ships, either transports or cruisers. Research will allow you to overwrite one of your basic techs with a card, and then every turn when it's time to use one of your techs, you can just use the action on that card instead. Execute is the only way that you can actually play a card from your hand and do the action. Plan means that you add a card or cards to your private impulse here on the right hand side of your player board, and then as part of your turn on a future turn you can do all of these actions and then discard those cards. Draw allows you to draw additional cards. Sometimes the draw cards are phrased like this. It says draw one card from the deck first, so you would just get that into your hand, and then draw one, and that's a boostable number, red or yellow card from the deck. And what that means is you draw one card. If it's red or yellow, then you keep it, but if it wasn't red or yellow, you would chuck it. Trade means to discard one of the cards in your hand and just get as many points as the size of that card, in this case 1. Refine allows you to discard minerals that you've mined in the past for a certain number of points. Mine allows you to add cards under here as minerals, and minerals will help to boost the white numbers on cards in future turns. And finally, sabotage. If you activate sabotage, you can sabotage any cruiser fleet if you patrol the same card as that cruiser fleet. And the way that you sabotage, let's say with this card I can sabotage with 3 bombs and it's boosted by 1 to 4 bombs. I just draw cards from the deck, in this case up to 4 cards, and if it's a size 2 or 3 card, the sabotage is successful and I blow up one of those cruisers. That's a size 1 card, unsuccessful. That's a size 2 card, so I blow up one ship and get 1 point. Third bomb, size 3 card, I blow up that second ship and get a point. That's all the possible actions. Battles can happen when cruisers move. If cruisers are trying to move through a card that's patrolled by enemy cruisers, they can't go to an empty gate. They have to start a battle by going to the same gate as one of the enemy cruisers. The player card has a guide to how battles work. First, the defender places reinforcement cards from their hand face down, and then the attacker does the same. In this case, both players are putting all of their cards down as reinforcements. You then draw 1 card from the deck for each cruiser that's involved in the battle. So in this case, 2 size 1 cards for the 2 red cruisers and a size 3 card for the white cruiser. So far the battle score is 2 points for the red and 3 points for the white. Now we look at the reinforcements and we add any valid reinforcements. What makes a reinforcement valid is if both the size and colour of the card matches one of the cards in the impulse or in your plan, or that you've previously researched as a technology. In this case, only one of these cards matches the impulse, the plan, or a technology, so this is a valid reinforcement. The rest are invalid reinforcements and would go back to the player's hand. So final battle score is 4 points, the valid reinforcement plus the 3 points from the deck. The attacker put out 2 valid reinforcements. They match cards on the impulse here. So the attacker's final score is also 4 points. In the case of a tie such as this, the defender wins. The attacker would lose both ships. The defender would get 1 point for winning the battle and 1 point per ship destroyed. All of the valid reinforcements and other cards involved in the battle then get discarded. I'll now go through a standard turn to show you how you play. You can't just play one of the action cards from your hand a turn follows a specific order which is written here on your player sheet. First, you must add a card to the impulse. These are shared actions that each player will get to do as part of their turn. So I'm going to add plan. Next, you can use one of your techs. These are the techs down here. I'm going to use this basic tech, which is discarding a card to move these ships to here. That allows me to sabotage a fleet with 3 bombs. It's boosted to 4 because I used 2 ships to activate that card. I can sabotage this cruiser fleet with this cruiser fleet because they're patrolling the same card. I've got 4 bombs, so I'll flip up to 4 cards, and the sabotage is successful if I get a size 2 or 3 card. First shot fails, second shot fails, third shot is a hit. I get 1 point for destroying that ship. Now I use the impulse cards in order. So first I build 1 transport at home, then I command 1 cruiser for 1 move. I will move him to here. Then I plan 2 cards of different colour from my hand, so I'm not going to choose to plan any. I don't want to do that. And plan up to 2 yellow cards from your hand. Again, I don't want to do that. Finally, I can use my plan if I had a plan. Then I score sector core points. I'm patrolling 1 of the sector core gates, so I get 1 point. And I draw 2 cards and trim the oldest card off of the impulse. Then it's the next player's turn. The next player goes through the same sequence. So first, add a card to the impulse. He'll add build. And then use one of your techs. He'll use the standard basic tech, discard a card, and build 1 ship at home. And then he'll use the impulse cards in order. Command 1 cruiser for 1 move. So this is going to go here to defend this transport. Plan 2 cards of different colour from your hand. Doesn't have any cards. Can't do this plan either, therefore. And then build 1 cruiser at home. Now, use or delay plan. Don't have a plan. Score sector core points. Not patrolling any gates of the sector core, so don't get any points for that. Draw 2 cards. Then trim the oldest card from the impulse.